Hello, everyone. Welcome back. So, this episode was recorded in early August, from what I remember. Coincidentally, on it, we were talking about how it's been a while since we had chatted and whatnot. Owen had been away doing some shooting, and I had been interviewing different people for the podcast. So, it doesn't actually tie in with the recent break, but it still fits. So, this episode is about the mental game of archery. I'm going to split it into 2 episodes, in fact. So I'm going to release this one now, and the next one likely release on Sunday. And then we should hopefully be back into our regular pattern of weekly podcasts. So just wanted to say thanks for your patience. And I also want to say hello to a listener that I met today. His name is Aaron. And it kind of tickled me because I rang him about something to do with work. And he said, I know you. And I was just like, what? How? And it turned out he recognized my voice from the podcast. So he is an archer as well. It was really nice to talk to him. And hopefully we'll talk a bit more at the end of this week as well, he and I. So here we go with this episode. I hope you enjoy part 1, and I will talk to you again soon. So Owen, hello, how are you?
Hello.
It's been a while.
It's been a while.
You're off having a life.
It's been too long. Far
For
too
who?
For our listeners.
Of course.
No, sorry. That's glad of the break.
So anyway, yeah, you were off having a life. I was here abandoned with my butterflies.
Just because someone has a life doesn't mean they have a life.
It's the literal phrase. Like, the literal thing is saying that they have a life. That makes no sense, Owen. I just go back to having a life and leave me alone.
The worst thing to be doing than looking at the window at butterflies.
So what's the story? What have you been up to?
I've been up to, we have, can I talk about our competition a little bit?
It's your podcast too, apparently.
That's what I've been up to, along with everybody else in
Strongbow coffee
Archers.
everywhere. Sorry, I talked over you.
It's okay.
Go on.
We're having a little bit of a crisis there.
Oh, yeah. Go on.
No, just busy organising our next our first competition. And everybody's been doing a lot of work on that. Amazing work. So I've been doing that. Oh, I was in Ukifak in Scotland, but we'll chat about that another day. And I've been finishing off I was in college for a bit as well. So that's another thing. So yeah, busy doing a few things. But that's not to say that anybody's at a loss or anything like that.
I got many emails and messages asking where you were.
I seriously doubt that.
Good, because I'm lying.
Yeah. Yeah, thank God he's gone.
No. So today we are going to be talking about the mental game of archery.
The mental game of archery, and it's a very broad and far-reaching subject.
It's something we started talking about a while ago.
Yeah.
On one of our rambling episodes.
Yeah, and I think what happens is it's something we actually touch upon regularly. It just pops in and out every so often because I suppose it's relevance. I might add a slight precursor and a disclaimer as well. I am not a qualified psychologist or in any way.
Not?
No, and I don't have any kind of credentials in behavioural therapy or anything like that in any way, shape or form.
This is all
I'm
pure opinion.
Speaking from my own personal experience and opinion. No.
Yeah, but fair enough putting that in, but we have never claimed to be anything.
No.
Other than amateurs.
And someday we'll claim to be fantastic archers. All of us.
I hit Spiderman's head after 2 weeks.
Yeah, I wasn't there for that.
You were?
You didn't show it to me.
You were literally standing beside me.
You brought his head back and showed me a graze on top of his forehead.
I shot him twice in the face. I need you to go and get your memory tested. I really do.
You brought back his head.
Yeah.
And which was all disturbing enough as it is. Look what I've done to Spider-Man's head.
Yeah, at the end of the day, we probably should explain.
Yeah, we should explain things because right now listeners just think we're going around with somebody's head.
So basically, it ties in quite well with the episode. I've had this block where I've been hitting everything but the yellow. basically.
Yeah.
And you found a decapitated, spongy Spider-Man's head in the hole. And you were like, hey, look at this psycho bitch over there who likes shooting anything but what she's supposed to. This might work. So we put him in at the bullseye part. And it took me 2 weeks to hit him for some reason. Don't know why. And then I think it was a mental thing. And then I hit him. And once I hit him, I didn't put him back up. I was like, right, I've done that.
Yeah.
But then when I was in last Saturday, other issues obviously came into play. I was slightly...
And when you were and the evenings that you were shooting at Spider-Man, your arrows were like
everywhere, but at him.
No, when I say everywhere, they were all around him.
Yeah.
It's not like they were off.
It was like he had a force field.
He had like a force field.
Yeah.
He had a protective web.
But then, I hate Spider-Man. But then last Saturday I went in and I shot quite well for the first time in a long time. And I think part of that was because I've been listening to one of Eddie Izzard's audiobooks, nothing to do with your coaching, Owen. And basically, he's delusional in how confident he is. And I was like, why the fuck can't I do that? Okay. And I was just, like, because he's always been, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that, and there's no reason why I shouldn't. So I went in on Saturday, high on painkillers, and was like, I'm going to do it. There's no reason why I shouldn't be able to do it. And I shot the best I've shot in a hell of a long time.
I bore witness to that, and I was amazed. Not that I'm doubting your capability as an archer, but you've been working so hard for weeks and weeks to keep track of the score, and it has been gradually going up. That's fine. There's a linear kind of path there. But that evening, it was like this spike, which was like, whoa. Because we were doing the flint practice. Yeah. And I'd look across at your grouping, and I was like, that's amazing play.
But I think part of that was also rage, because I was like, I can't shoot. I have to wait for them to finish their thing. Okay. So then I was just like, shooting away.
So as a coach, I'm making these notes now because as a coach, I'm just really piss her off now before a competition.
How have you not noticed this before? My whole thing is rage. Anger, rage, violence.
Never.
Spider-Man can attest to that. 2 weeks, he taunted me.
So what's your next superhero that you're going to decapitate and shoot at?
I didn't decapitate him. Some psycho child did. Where's his body? That's what I want to know.
I don't want to know.
Why was his head there?
It doesn't really matter because
his loss is my gain.
It was just something for us to shoot at.
Yeah, but that's how warped you are now, where you're like, yeah, she can shoot that.
Yeah, you know what? This is what we need now. A head. I've been searching for a solution, going through my notes, my manuals, and a head. There we are. This will work.
Yeah, head.
And by the way, for the benefit of listeners, we are still on the mental aspect of art.
But I think it does tie in a really weird way because it got me past that block. Yeah. And once I hit it, and I hit it twice, thank you, I was like, Grant, that's that.
It's interesting because there's a common thing out there called target panic. I don't know if you've ever heard of that.
I have, but I didn't think that I had that because I wasn't panicking. I was just like...
It's one of those kind of elusive things, and it's very hard to define because people have their own versions of it, I find, because depending on who you speak to, they've got a different type of hurdle or blockage that's happening to them. And it's, for some archers, they often say it can be quite debilitating. I've been to competitions where you're watching an archer and they'll knock their arrow, they're on the line, timer started, they knock their arrow, set up, perfect, set position, set up, perfect. But they never ever come to, they'll get as far as maybe set up, draw the bow a little further and let go. They just literally physically cannot get to anchor. It's that they just cannot settle into the shot. Yeah. I'm not saying that's typical, I'm saying that's a very severe aspect, or how it manifests itself in one way. Other people, perfect form, alignment, full draw, anchor, perfect follow through, execute physically a perfect shot, but the arrow will go everywhere with the paper. So it shows in different ways, and people often put that down to target panic. And it's funny because different people then discover, quite often by accident, different ways of pulling themselves out of it. It's almost like a mental shock or a mental jolt. They do something else, they'll stop competing or they'll stop practicing a certain way and do something different. A common way is what they call blank bailing. We discussed that before, where there's nothing on the backstop at all, and you just shoot and shoot, just to settle yourself down. Some people like coffee cup shooting. You just put a cardboard coffee cup, synonymous for, I suppose, for lots of things you could shoot at, and they'll shoot at that. And I suppose, again, because target panic affects different people in many ways, I often find is when people kind of relax and they start reintroducing a certain fun aspect to it, it takes the pressure off. So that's one kind of way of maybe thinking about it, I think, perhaps.
Do you think I had target panic?
Personally, no.
Yeah, neither do I.
Okay.
I think it was just some weird little blip.
I think it was just a weird little blip. And to be honest, you're still working through your process in many ways as well. And you're still on that kind of exploratory journey, not just with your bow and your target, but how you react to the target and shooting and things like that. And that's why we're tracking your scores, but we also have a little box there where you might write down something circumstantial, even if it's just the lights went off early or whatever, something small. It just helps ground you. And the same way a lot of people will diary things. I'm not saying that you have to diary your archery journey. Some people might, that's fine. But just a little note that you can go, oh, I shot really well. And, oh yeah, that was the day, like, yeah, I nailed Spiderman.
So a part of the reason I have stuck with archery is because of the psychological aspect of it.
Yeah.
Not just the, scientific side of it in terms of everything else that goes on, but the mental side of it and how it has made me rethink things and reevaluate things. But it's only when I'm in archery that it's different. So you as a coach, what kind of things do you implement?
I think it's interesting you say that because the whole psychological aspect of archery and a person's own, I suppose, intrinsic motivation, I think it's one of the key factors in why people embrace archery. It's a solitary pursuit in many ways. There's people who swim and there's people who run, and there's a certain level of mindfulness derived from that. And I think archery, as a sport, it obviously fulfills a very important function as an outlet in that form. But I think it has so much more potential as a pursuit for people who are going through maybe not even something that they actually intended on doing. But what I found with archery, when people have taken up archery, it's instigated a certain level of introspection, and myself too. And I've always been curious about that. That you speak to people about who do archery, and they're like, they talk about personal journey that they've embarked upon when it comes to reevaluating their own lives or their journey. Maybe it's a reflective process that's happening as well. And I think archery, by its very nature, I suppose it instigates a level of mindfulness, the learning process, the shot cycle, the practice, and you're very much at one with yourself as well. It's just yourself, your body, your bow, and having those things work in harmony. So by default, people are going to reflect upon things as well. So there's a certain, then you've got the physical aspect as well, the physical exertion as well. In that, there's a reason why people go for hikes and go for a walk and go for a run. It's not just to keep themselves fit, it's to clear the head. In many ways, archery fulfills that function. But see, archery is so much more. There's a certain discipline in archery. We can go for a walk, we can go for a run, they're fine. But archery requires a level of focus and discipline and a certain expectation from yourself as well to not perfect it, but to try and make yourself better than the day before, beat your personal best. And that's a certain strivation that we always have as well as individuals, to try and be a better individual than we were the day before. It's not the pursuit of perfection, because you're never going to reach that. So that was something that kind of piqued my interest as well when I got into coaching. And you're chatting with people, and when you start coaching, you think, okay, fair enough, I'm going to know the rules, and I'm going to help somebody like win this competition. You get to chatting to people and you go, hang on, there's a whole other element here that we risk missing. And a broader reason why people want to stay with archery, and yeah, maybe competing to a high level might come further down the road. But there's people even in our club, and I come in and I see them and they're shooting there. I'm not going to get too specific about it. But they come in.
Names.
No, I'm not going to name names. But they come in, and it doesn't matter what age they are, whether they're in the 60s or the 70s or the 50s, and they're quite happy just to come in, bit of company, shoot their 7, 8, 9, 10 ends of arrows, dial it in, have a cup of tea, go home. That's it. And it's that little bit of an outlet for them. And there's a reason they're doing that. There's a mindful kind of step back where they can just, and it's almost like that they're, I won't say they're obliged or almost forced to tune out from everything around them and just focus on the shot, therefore inducing a certain level of mindfulness. But it was something that intrigued me with archery, and I was like, how do I encapsulate that? How do I ring fence that? How do I make this part of my practice, my coaching practice? And so that led me down the route of exploring the whole concept of archery philosophy and the psychology surrounding that. And that sends you down another rabbit hole now when it comes to a philosophy. It's based upon a certain set of principles, ethics, and values. I was reading an article in Bow International, and there was one sentence which I really liked in it, where the mental game is a very personal part of archery, and there is no one-size-fits-all approach with it. And just because one thing works for a certain person, it does not mean that it'll work for everyone. And that's how I was saying that.
But that's life.
That's life, exactly. And like target panic, it's not as specific to one person, how it shows and how it's solved. So it's a very personal thing. And that's why I think the whole mental aspect of I suppose, your archery journey, and I suppose the mental game, if you like, it's, for me, I find it's introduced a level of mindfulness and personal reflection as well. And I don't think it's improved my shooting discipline, because for me, shooting is more of a mechanical kind of process, like following a set of instructions. So I go through my steps. So I'm focused on that. But I do find that if I'm doing, say, a target competition, a World Archery or an Archery Ireland target competition, there's a competition called the 720, and in those competitions you can shoot up to 144 arrows. One target all day, same face.
But that's what you were saying, you wanted me to do one of them.
Yeah. But you can be really good at those because it's repetition.
Yeah.
But what I often find is you have that kind of, it's almost a self-destructive kind of urge. That about 3/4 of the way through, I know I can execute a shot, but I don't really want to.
Yeah.
And it's a horrible feeling to have. You're aware of your power to execute it well, but also to send it over the backstop.
Yeah. Or shoot.
And it's a horrible urge that just creeps upon you. And you're like, I don't like this. Yeah. And you're trying to bring yourself back down. No, I was happy there this morning when I wasn't thinking about anything. Now I'm thinking.
I sometimes get that if I'm shooting away, I'll look at someone else's target and go, I want to shoot that now.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah.
And then you do.
Yeah, it's like the other week when Spiderman was there and Dermot was beside me, and he just randomly just moved slightly to the left and shot 2 arrows towards Spiderman to see if he could hit him. I was like, you bastard, how dare you? Because I hadn't even hit him at that stage.
Yeah.
So later on, when I was shooting, I just went slightly over to the right and shot 2 into his
But target. That was just a deliberate act to annoy him.
It was revenge, yeah.
Yeah, but that's
but other times when we're shooting and we're there for a while, I'll just be like, I'm gonna shoot. I want to see if I can shoot all the way over to the other one on the far side of the hall, and what I can do. And then I'm like, no, but you can't do that.
You can't do that. That's
why I want to do that.
Because you have a cross arrow path.
Yeah.
What happens if arrows collide mid-flight? Have you ever
seen? They get married and have little arrow babies.
Arrow babies.
Baby arrows. Yeah. So anyway, we're not going to shoot.
No, we're not. We're going to leave. Yeah. That aside.
Oh Lord, we should get stoned and do this.
Really?
Yeah.
This cappuccino is good.
My legs stop working and I get really paranoid when I'm stoned. So it's not a good buzz.
Not that Roberta gets stoned, by the way, folks.
Yes, don't worry.
And if she did, she's going to share it.
All I share is misery. Yeah, so in relation to, I suppose, I'll just talk about myself, but the whole kind of psychological thing with archery, as I said, I'm one of the most impatient people in the world. I'm all about, do that now, it's done, grand, fine. Whereas with this, I've had to change my mindset. Like when I got pissed off, so I started just slacking on the way I was standing or whatever. And I was like, oh, for God's sake, what are you doing? Snap out of it. I had to get myself back into it and just be like, grow up.
And it's like you self-chastise yourself almost to a certain extent, but not in a kind of self-critical way.
No,
but
it's more of a, what's the point of this?
I'm being petulant here. I'm not standing properly because I don't want to, and that's what they say I should do.
Yeah.
But then you shoot and goes, oh, crap.
Yeah.
I am going to have to make a bit of an effort in my stance here.
Yeah. The thing was,
I really just grow up a little bit here.
I was frustrated, and I did the whole kind of floppy stance type of thing. And I was like, oh, like a little teenager. I was like, fuck's sake. Excuse my language, sorry. And then I shot a few and they were everywhere. And then I just literally stood up straight, did the whole thing, locked, like my hips properly, locked everything properly, shot, and it went bang in the middle. And I was like...
Yeah. And that's what I'm saying. A coach could have easily stepped in and said, you did it all wrong. Look at your stance, look at your release, look at your follow through. They didn't need to. You knew what was going to happen before you even threw a hissy fit.
Tantrum.
Threw a tantrum.
Yes.
And you knew the outcome.
Yeah.
It was predetermined. And this is where the whole point of, this is where the bit of a kind of the reflection comes in. You knew that was going to happen. And you knew if you wanted to work, you knew what you had to do.
Yeah.
And you didn't need a coach to tell you that. Somebody nearby to help you, of course. But that was your own little kind of self-correction, your own little bit of self-discipline, your own bit of reflection, your own bit of self-admonishment, if you want to call it that. But that's all part of it. And that's what's nice about archery. If you stick with it as well, I'm not saying everybody stick with it, but you go, you know what? Okay, fine, I'm going to do this, and I'm going to see if I can make this work. And I think that's part of the reflective process. What was that like? Because for you to admit that to yourself.
I can admit that to myself, but if somebody else came along, I'd be like, shut up.
Yeah.
I am a child at the end of the day, annoyingly. It's the other week when I was shooting and you're like, that's not too bad, Roberta. And I was like, shut up. And you were like, okay, you know what I mean? But I have to say, I don't say that out of rudeness, and you know that.
No, I know it.
I'm just a dickhead, and I can't take compliments, so I'm just kind of, and like you, we're both not able to take compliments. Maybe it's the Irish thing, but
feel free to throw them.
I find it easier to throw insults in an affectionate type of way. But yeah, I just...
But how did that feel for you then when you're taking that shot? You know what? I'm just going to stand whatever I want. I'm going to shoot whatever I want because that's the mood I'm in. And they go all over the place. And you have to take that step or that little bit of pause and go, if I'm going to make this work, I'm going to have to admit to myself that this is what I have to do. That little step there.
How did that feel?
Is that something you can easily do?
No.
Because, like I said, with other things you can... Look, it's very easy. We can drop everything that we put our hands to. It's very easy to walk away from stuff. And there's a lot of reasons why people do. So I'm not even going to take a moral high ground on that. But for some people, it's pure drive or ambition. You know what? I want to get this, even though and they might just switch. Okay, look, I'm going to do this. But for other people, it's to admit themselves that you can't bend the process. You can't break the process. The process is the process. And for that arrow to fly through, you have to follow the process and admit to it.
For me, it was more to do with I've put far too much time and energy and literal pain into this to start fucking up now. You know what I mean? Why are you smiling at me?
I think it's a fantastic answer. I love that.
So it was, please don't ever smile at me like that again. It was terrifying. You're in a shadow and all I can see is your teeth. Yeah, no, it was literally like, okay, you can be a child or you can put on your big girl pants and you can just accept the fact that this is another stage in the process and you need to go through this.
Yeah.
And then once you get through this, you win all the competitions and you'll be grand.
If that's what you want to do.
It is. My whole drive is to do competitions, but also when I need to just clear my head, go and shoot.
Yeah.
A balance. And I know I'm never going to be first on the podium, but I still want to go out and see what I can do.
I think that is so true. And what I found with archery as well, look, it can be sometimes the most frustrating pursuit in itself as from a technical point of view, from a shooting point of view, from a social point of view.
But then the more frustrated you get, the worse it gets. So you have to
you go
reflect on it.
And because what's the alternative? Walk away. And okay, fine, you can do that. It's not always a bad thing. But if you believe in it and have that kind of underlying kind of thought that I can make this work or this can help me, you step up and you stick with it and you set aside whatever reservations you have and you make that little bit of an extra effort. And even sometimes when you don't want to, it's like the whole one step forward thing.
Yeah.
And you push through that. Because the good days are right around the corner as well. Along with the bad ones and the good ones, both are going to come either way. And archery is no different. And again, like I said, that's all part of the personal journey of it as well. I think there's so many parallels I found with it that's helped me personally as well. And which the only downside is, and my wife she 100%, 110% agree with it, is the amount of time I've devoted to it now. It's far more than I should. But okay, if there's, I suppose my excuse is always, look, there's be worse. But
you could be at mainline and crack, yeah.
Yeah. But, if archery doesn't work out.
Yeah. I'm sure you can just sell some. Anyway, we won't go into that.
No, you won't. But,
no, I'm notorious for, if I don't get it right away, I'm not doing it. Notorious for it. Yeah.
I wouldn't have thought that.
Oh, 100%, because I'm like, I should be able to be perfect at that straight away. And if I'm not, then I'm not doing it. I'm notorious for that.
This comes back to what I said earlier about chasing perfection. It's a fool's errand.
I'm a fool. I'm a fool, Owen.
No, Roberta, you're not perfect. Sorry.
How dare you?
And you never will be.
Just hits keep coming, right? No, but like literally, if I do something and I'm not the best at it, I will walk away. I'll just be like, no, Grant. And people will be like, no, but she just, and I'm like, no, you're fine. Even if I have loads of potential, I'm like, no, couldn't get it the first time. I'm not perfect. I'm not doing it. Whereas with this, for some reason, there's something about archery where I keep coming back to it. I don't know what it is. I know that I'm never going to be perfect at it, even though I am perfect. Yep. Thank you very much. But I just keep coming back to it.
But and even to this day, I'm a little bit like that as well, because I know there's an attraction there, but I'm not 100% sure what it is. And you branch out into different things. Shooting different competitions, shooting with different affiliations, Archery Ireland, CIFA, IFAF, shooting different bow styles, bear, bow hunter, compound. Even the technical things, like whether it's making wristlings or tuning bows or making strings, okay? Coaching. You're trying to find what it is that's going to, what is it that I'm chasing here? What is it that's intriguing me about this? Is it this or is it that? And then all of a sudden, like you look back and go, okay, I'm going to go back to college, try and figure that out. Or set up a club. You go down these various routes. What I found was every single route I've taken in itself has been an amazing journey of self-discovery. And I'm never actually getting to that actual point as to why exactly am I doing this? Do you know, or what is it? And maybe that's why it's taken up so much of my time now as well. Maybe I have that search that's ongoing, and maybe there's something wrong with me, which that's fine too. Well, no, it isn't.
But are you happy?
I'd say rather than saying I'm happy, I'd say I'm at ease in many ways.
So it's giving you a release.
It's giving me a certain amount of peace, a personal inner peace, and a certain amount of, I suppose, acceptance of myself. Doesn't necessarily mean happy or sad.
So that's why you keep coming back, and that's why you're chasing the arrow, so to speak. Is
chasing
because
the arrow.
It's giving you it's giving you what you need.
Because it's that journey of introspection. It never stops, nor should it. And that's what I find it's always invoking in me, not just in, like I said, the club or the coaching or making things, but in the people you meet as well, and listening to their stories, and you have to get on everybody, the friends you make. It's a fascinating journey. But for me personally, it's about what I'm learning about myself. Not all good, but there you are. That's all part of it. It's something to work on, something else to try and fix.
I'm just going to completely ruin your lovely Zen moment by saying that I think the reason I keep coming back to it is because I get to shoot things. I get to stab things with sharp things. Like I went from rugby where I get to hit people to a thing where I get to stab things.
But that's
I think that's the weird.
Roberta, it's also supposed to be fun. Okay? We're shooting things.
And maybe, to be honest with you, maybe what it is, it just scratches every part of my brain.
Yeah.
There's a psychological part. There's the, what's it called? That other scientific thing that begins with P. What's it called? You got chemistry, biology,
Physics.
physics. Thank you. Didn't do it in school, but the physics of it.
Yeah.
There's so much in it. You know, it's not like rugby where you just pick up the ball and you go and you hit someone. And there's loads of people going to be listening going, that's not what rugby is, and that's why you're fucked up. That's what I used to do. I was brought on to do a bit of damage. But there's just so much more. And I've said it in so many other episodes, and you've said it in this. There's so much more to archery than picking up a bow and pointing and shooting it. And it's trying to chase that constantly.
That's it.
Like the slightest change in the way you hold the riser, the slightest change in your stance, the slightest this and the effect that has.
Yeah.
Just trying to figure it all out.
Yeah. And at the same time, you're also figuring out parts of yourself as well, simultaneously, even though you mightn't be aware of it. That's what's going on as well. And then, as you say, it's not all. What keeps us there, as well as that, is awesome. It's great fun.
The stabbing of stuff.
Look, to go back to our friend John, when he brought in that 3D
frog,
the looks on people's faces when they were taking turns to shoot at the damn thing, it was almost primal.
The poor frog.
The frog. And I've got this tool which can shoot stuff. Yeah. And if I hit that frog, it's mine.
Yeah, exactly.
And it wasn't a competition.
It was a competition, and I lost.
Okay,
and
maybe
I was
it was
not
a competition.
happy.
Yeah. Yes. Okay. Fair enough.
We should have one for the adults.
But still, everybody was at the line there. They're queuing up, and they're like. Yeah. What was nice as well, like when Anna hit it, or whoever would hit it, they mightn't have got the centre because, of course, John had to set the standard very high. Had to get the centre. Thanks very much. So it wasn't good that we had to hit this tiny thing. But when anybody hit it, the joy and the support and the cheering, and they're like, whoa! And then.
But even in the queuing up, I was like, no, you next. Yeah. No, you go next.
You go next. Yeah. Sure.
Yeah, secretly, don't fucking get it. It's not my turn yet.
I'm not going to remind him. He's forgotten him. So I'm going to take only to shoot twice. So I've got a few headings here.
Yeah.
I've got, and we might see, and I've got some descriptions on them, but the descriptions are, I want to see what we can play with here. Break down the mental game in archery, focus and concentration.
Oh, Jesus, which I have none of.
And so, suffice to say, it does require focus and concentration.
It's a battle.
It's a battle, but it doesn't have to be an arduous one. Word of the day.
At least you pronounced it correctly.
Okay. And and so when it comes to focus, and what I often say to people, and I think I've touched upon this before, you might be chatting with somebody halfway through a competition and they're not having a good day, and particularly for people at their first couple of competitions, because they're out there, and as well as processing the 15 or 16 steps in the shot cycle, or 12 steps, or whatever it is, they're also processing new environment, they're also self-conscious, they're also aware of their scorecard. There's a whole bunch of other stuff dumped on them. And they're out there and they're missing targets, and okay, scorecards, so I've forgotten my shot cycle. What am I going to do? And so you might have a chat with them at lunchtime, and I'm a great believer in simplifying things. You might think that. Now, I know it can complicate things, but I like to simplify things. I like simple things, but I can complicate things trying to simplify things.
Like that whole sentence, yeah.
So you say to them, and I know I touched upon this before, but look, what's happening? I'm missing everything. I'm going home. I'm selling my bow. I'm not going to talk to you again. No, hang on a second. I can appreciate them not talking to me again, but that's fine. But the other stuff, what's happening? What this is happening? Listen, bring it back down. I've forgotten everything. Don't worry about it. Just do this and this. Forget about everything else. Because this and this will get you so far. For example, your anchor point.
Yeah.
Okay, just anchor point. But it'll keep you going. You've forgotten everything else, that's fine. Anchor point. Just think about your anchor point and nothing else.
It's like the other week when I forgot about my anchor point.
Yeah.
And you were like, hello.
I didn't say it like that, listeners.
Threw something at me.
I don't walk up to them and throw stuff at them and go, hello.
It was akin to that.
Much more subtle and discreet and all that. But It's an anchor point. And then I'm not thinking, those 60-yard shots, and I do my head in. Fine, don't take them. It's your first competition. Forget about them. Park them. Put down a blank. Okay, shoot them if you want. That's up to you. But if they're upsetting you, don't shoot them. But you're here at the competition. You've earned your right to shoot. You're here as an affiliated archer. Shoot what you can. Do the group 4s, the group 3s. Just enjoy the day. Relax. And it takes the pressure off. And it brings them back to focusing on just a couple of things. Group 4, their anchor. That's it. And what happens is, because they started doing that, the other stuff that they had been learning just starts filtering back in almost subconsciously. So that's what I mean by focus, is there's certain little, I suppose, pressure points that people can just, even for themselves, even without needing a coach to say to them, to go, okay, bring it back down to this. Not perfect, but I'll bring it right back down to this, because the alternative is going home. What I like with archery is, as well, for me, it's always been evocative of a huge amount of personal reflection on many levels. Sometimes not always comfortable, but I like to think always productive, and maybe beneficial in a way. But so you have that kind of focus, and then also with focus, then you need to be able to block out certain distractions as well. So like that. So if you're overwhelmed by maybe you're in a group and they're shooting very well, and you're looking at your scorecard and you're comparing to them, if you're taking the score, you have all these different distractions or whatever. Again, just bring it right back down to a couple of things that you're just going to focus on. And try and, it's easy to say block out distractions. They're there. Maybe
when you shoot, do you hear what's going on around you? Are you tuned into what's going on?
Okay, my biggest problem is I hear everything, but I listen to nothing.
You're a man. There you go. Thank you. That's that episode done.
That's okay. We can skip to point 7.
No, but if you're there and you're lined up to shoot and everything, are you just focused on that? Or
I am not distracted by, unless it's a bang or something that's unexpected.
Like Archer's bow exploding.
Or Archer's bow. But banter, chatting, laughing, jokes, whatever, I am not in any way distracted by that at all. Music, whatever. Because for me, and this is going to sound, I don't want to sound judgmental, but I suppose for some archers, and again, I don't want to be presumptuous either, but when they bring it to a certain level of skill and performance delivery, they're more acutely aware of things that can maybe affect their shot to that minute detail. And that includes things like sound or somebody chatting in the background. No, I'm not there yet. Maybe I don't want to ever get there. Maybe, I don't know. But to answer your question, I'm not distracted by noise. Like I said, chatting, that fair enough. I'll be distracted by somebody if they're annoying, but who wouldn't be in any scenario? But in terms of my shot delivery, no.
I'm more distracted by silence. Like when everyone's shooting and everyone's stopped and I'm still shooting, sometimes that happens. I'm still kind of shooting because I've decided that's what's happening. And everybody goes quiet. And I'm like, why is everyone quiet now? And that's what distracts me. Yeah.
It's like when you're shooting in the woods or even on the line, you always have that kind of background hum, whether it's forest noise or people noise, and you have that kind of hum. But sometimes, if the other occasion I might be in the hall, I might be on my own completely, and obviously sound is blocked out and shooting, you're aware of everything. And you're right, it's the slightest little thing, even a bird off in the distance or a car, you're more acutely aware of those.
I don't mind if I was shooting on my own. I don't mind because I'm like, okay, I'm on my own.
Yeah.
But it's when there's chatter and everything, and then everyone stops and there's silence, and I'm just like,
that's your survival instinct kicking in, because you're just wondering, why is everybody gone quiet?
No, I know why they've gone quiet, because they're watching me.
But that's different.
And I'm okay. So now, what am I doing? So I get pulled out of it a bit.
Yeah, I don't like that, because if everybody has stopped to watch you doing something, in my opinion, you should be made aware of that. You shouldn't have to just suddenly become aware that people, you should, hang on, why are they watching me? Why is everybody, that's,
like, I don't mind, because they finished, and like when I finish shooting,
yeah, but you're going to be subconscious. Have they noticed something that I've done wrong and they want to see if I repeat it? But you don't know this.
No,
okay.
I don't think that.
Okay.
I'm just more kind of shit. People are looking at me, and if I shoot this crap, then it's just going to be embarrassing. but that's more my thing. It's not really, but I haven't competed yet.
Yeah.
Indoors, so
when you're
that might
competing
change.
indoors, it's funny because you're on a line, but you're on your own. You could have 40, 50, 70 people on a line, depending on the competition. And it's probably the most solitary, lonely experience you'll have in archery, I find personally.
Must
Even
be a great sound though when everyone shoots at once.
oh, it's amazing.
Mm.
And the timer goes and you have that rapid fire. It's a really nice sound, And then when the timers come up to the 3 minutes, you've got the kind of that sound just filtering and fading away. The thumps just slowly. It's a lovely sound, in fairness, and the different types of. But that can be very, and you're there on your own, but you're amongst everybody. But nobody's watching you as well, even though you have all these people there. If you're in the woods or you're a group of 4, everybody's always watching you because you're taking turns. So you always have that circle of 3 around you.
Yeah.
So you're going to have that at every single target. But that's where I suppose when it comes to blocking out distractions, it depends on what your idea of a distraction is. Is it actually like people going silent? Then is that a distraction for you, or is it just a background noise? Or people? I know, so for example, some people can't stand the sound of other people chatting away in the background. That's fine. That's a personal thing. So everybody has to stay quiet, or it's an etiquette thing as well. Now I'm not saying you should. Etiquette dictates that look, when somebody's taking a shot, you make an effort to be quiet anyway.
Be respectful at a certain level of
exactly.
Yeah.
But you could be in a relatively tight forest where the lanes are relatively close to each other. If zones respected, obviously. But you'll always hear people like laughing and joking and having the crack in the background. You can't stop that, especially if Livia's nearby, you can hear her for miles.
What else have you got?
Confidence and positive self-talk. And I like this one because it's not just a question of a confidence in your own ability, but confidence in your equipment as well. And that's, again, it's funny how equipment failure can really interrupt your confidence and your shooting, because if at full draw, and say, for example, I've had equipment failure and it's not nice, and you get new limbs, or you fix your bow, or you make a new string or whatever, but there's always those couple of competitions afterwards where you're aware of it as well. It's just something you don't.
Yeah, because you'd be waiting for it to happen again.
You're
and all
hoping
that
it
kind
won't
of
happen
stuff.
again,
Yeah,
won't repeat it, because it's horrible when it happens. And then and then what happens like that, I like to think then you just become more diligent in checking your equipment, because I don't mind admitting it. It doesn't happen all, but the few times it has happened, I'd say it was down to maybe a little bit, maybe neglect, or wasn't checking things as well as I should have. But I've learned from that. And so yeah, confidence and positive self-talk.
So how does self-talk affect your shot?
Well, I don't do that, but I suppose it's one aspect of it.
But I went in the other week and was like, yeah, you can do it.
That's positive self-talk.
Yeah.
I can do this.
There's no reason why I can't do
There's
it.
no reason why I can't do it, because I've done it last week and I did it twice the week before, so I can do this. I suppose maybe positive self-talk is one thing. It's maybe not as pertinent as maybe negative self-talk, which is very easy to do. I mean, we all do that regularly, I think.
We all do that easier.
So maybe it's more, not so much a case of positive self-talk as go easy on yourself.
But you know what I find funny is, I don't mean half funny, is if I'd say to people I do archery and they're like, oh, you're good at it. If I say, yeah, I think I am, I feel like I'm really just notions and up myself. But there are some times when I am actually good at it. And why shouldn't I say that? Like, why are we so quick to be kind of like...
Exactly, yeah.
Why would we be so quick to be like, no, I'm shit at it?
I mean, you say, I'm doing archery, and people ask, are you good at it? The relevant thing is, no, I'm doing archery. That's the important thing. I'm doing archery. Define good at archery. Is it knowing your stuff? Is it the number of competitions you do, or how well you do at the competitions? Is it how many bows you shoot? Is it shooting a higher poundage bow or a low poundage bow?
Yeah.
It's such a broad-ranging subject. It's very hard to define what's good
it's
at
very
archery.
Personal kind of answer. Yeah.
And it's your own personal answer. The people might go out if personal circumstances take over. If they're lucky to get out once a month, you know what? If they feel like that they're a good archer because they pick up a bow, make the effort to string it, go out, shoot in a few hours, have a bit of crack.
Yeah.
And if they feel, you know what? Yeah. So if you're a good archer and you go, yeah, I think I am.
But that's the whole thing. It's the kind of,
Yeah,
oh God, I'm really up myself for saying that. Like I shouldn't be. So again, it goes back to a very Irish mentality, I think,
yeah,
where you're not allowed to be proud of yourself. Or you're not allowed to say you're good at something.
yeah. But this is where I suppose, like, people ask, "Are you good at it?" I'll just say, but and look, it's a question, and you're not going to be. Hopefully, you're not going to say, "No, I'm crap," and I'm not going to say I'm excellent because I'm not. So people ask me, like, it's a general question because, to be fair, most people asking it, they have no kind of
Measurement of it. Or,
measurement
yeah,
of
yeah.
as to what it entails. So I'll just go, well, yeah, I'm okay. That's,
Yeah, but if you said, yeah, I'm great, you'd be seen as really egotistical, even if it was true.
but that could be applied to anything.
I know, but still, like we're talking about positive self-talk.
But I've never come across any. First of all, I don't ask people that, but I've never encountered a situation where somebody goes, "Yeah, I'm great."
It's because I haven't won a medal yet.
You will.
Oh, I know.
We're,
Everyone will know once
we're,
I've done it.
we're working towards that,
Yes,
and I've every confidence.
everyone will
I can
know.
actually visualize it.
Yeah,
I have my, I
exactly.
have my, I
Visualization.
have my little congratulations speech prepared and
Do
everything.
you?
Yeah.
Oh, you throw a shoe at me and go, "Well done, bitch." No, manifesting. That's what I'm doing. Eddie Izzard. Love him.
Yeah, but negative self-talk is, I think it's more kind of relevant than positive
Mm,
self-talk because negative talk is so easy and it provides such a comfort zone for people
yeah.
and a certain refuge as well. And I suppose in archery it is very relevant because you go out there, and especially for beginners, and again, I've touched upon this before, but because we're talking about the mental game, is one of the most important things for beginners to do when they go out there is not to compare themselves to anyone.
Yeah.
Just don't even go there. And when you see people coming in, they're coming like with hundreds of points, and they have from blank to target, they have all their
Well
arrows.
done, them. Mm.
But don't compare yourself to them. And don't go, well, I'm never going to be good as them. And look at that beautiful bow they have, and I've got my whatever. And don't even go there because they started off as well. And like I said, a lot of people in, I suppose, in IFAF, and so many of them have started later
Mm.
in as well. And then, just enjoy it, see where it takes you. And, over time, you'll see so many other people like in the same situation. It's not about how many points you
Mm.
get or what you, it's obviously it's nice. But like with everything, you're not going to be sugarcoated either. If you want to be good at anything, it takes practice and work. Okay.
Mm.
And if you're looking at somebody and they are doing well and you go, Jesus, what, how can I do? How can I be like that? How can I do that? You do have to put in the work.
Yeah, but then
Oh,
you also, with some people, there's the risk of overtraining, going to the other degree with
but
that.
some people are that way inclined
Mm.
anyway.
Mm.
And again, I'm not categorizing or pigeonholing. Some people are driven to high performance kind of objectives.
What signs do you think might indicate an archer is mentally struggling?
Okay, we touched upon target planning. That's the first one. And then struggling with the game, I suppose, in
Mm-mm.
general. We all struggle with different things. Maybe that they're maybe not getting out, even though they have the maybe not they're not shooting as much,
There's avoidance.
and they're avoiding it.
Mm.
Leaving aside like say personal and family and life commitments, but if they're just avoiding it because they don't want to do it, and that's another thing as well, which is a bit sad because when that happens, because they're missing out not just on the shooting aspect, they're missing out on the social aspect
Yeah,
as well. And once you go down that route, it can be very difficult to
pull yourself
pull
out.
yourself back
Yeah,
again.
yeah.
And like with everything, sometimes maybe it's a case of maybe fake it till you make it kind of thing. Just pick up your bow, go out, go to a shoot, go to practice. Even if you go in and shoot a couple of hours, arrows, go in, have the crack, have a cup of tea, have a chat. But if they're mentally struggling and there's other reasons people might mentally struggle in archery as well, and they can be physical as well, because people they might have an injury or they might have a problem with their shoulder or their
Mm.
back or
Mm.
their neck or whatever, and that might curtail their shooting as well, and that can maybe have I suppose a mental aspect on their shooting as well because they obviously maybe they feel they can't go out and shoot as often.
Mm-hmm.
But this is where people can look at things like, I'm not saying it's a solution for everything, but things like maybe a lower poundage bow. Some people won't do that
Mm.
because you've got the other thing as well. Hang on, I hurt my shoulder,
Mm.
but I'm not going to shoot less than 40 pounds, like
Yeah, yeah.
ever.
That's ego.
Do
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
yeah.
So you've got that dual thing going on. Whereas I know people, I shoot with people who are shooting 18-pound bows and 20-pound bows, and they are they are reaching the 60 yards. You change your style, maybe adjust your equipment a little. So there's lots of different ways I suppose an archer can mentally struggle.
Yeah.
And it can be either, like I said, target panic, or it could be fatigue, it could be physiological as well from an injury or something like that.
Absolutely. Like, from my perspective, it can be extremely frustrating to be kept going to go shoot, and then that day for some reason my shoulders acting up, my back is acting up, this is acting up, and I'm like, I'm trying to do something, and I know I should be able to do this. So you have this mental battle going on with your body then the whole time, and you're fighting that.
Exactly, and then you get angry with yourself as well.
Yeah, and then the arrows start going off to the right, and you're like, get the fuck on.
Yeah. But that's why what I like about archery then is that's why I think people who are competition driven, and that's fine. That's okay. It's a game. It's a sport at the end of the day. But to give it a certain amount of space, if you can't shoot for a while or for a long while, there's other avenues that archery offers as well. It can be it can be as rewarding too, whether it's coaching or equipment care, or even just coming in the social aspect as well. And that's what I like about it. And you don't always have to have a physical ailment or a mental kind of blockage to feel tired of it sometimes, because it can be very incredibly frustrating.
Yeah.
And that's what I like about it. I go off and do something else to do with it.
I don't. I have this battle where I'm like, I'll learn you. You'll come out my way.
Yeah.
And the archery's, are you delusional?
Oh yeah. You know? It's a very sobering thing as well. You'll hang on a second. I did this shot the exact same way as the last one, and the arrows have gone completely different directions.
Yeah.
So you're there like, you have this personal thing going on as well. It's a bit humbling as well, which is not necessarily a bad thing.
Yeah.
Which is why, of course, then you've got people who just nail it all the time, but they're a different breed. We're going to talk about them. Confidence and positive self-talk. The only thing I'll say about that is everybody's got, without necessarily promoting positive self-talk, avoid negative self-talk. No good. Goal setting and visualization. That's something that we're working on now at the moment. And I think with goals, and it's something I touched upon in college as well, that realistic goals and measured goals and paced goals, that like set yourself the small little goals, like even if it's just shooting Spiderman's head, a foam one, and that in itself it'll provide a certain amount of direction and motivation. Because you'll see a lot of archers, like for example myself, one of the categories I shoot is a freestyle limited. I'm not very good at it, but that's okay.
Excuse me, can we backtrack to the negative self-talk there for a minute?
But I'm talking about facts here.
It doesn't matter. No negative self-talk, thank you.
But anyway, the point is, there's not a lot of competition in that style. So your goal then becomes one of beating your own personal best.
Yeah.
So you're watching it against your last score. So that's one way of goal setting. Or in the hall, you might be trying to tighten up on a certain amount of grouping, or you might be trying to But the thing is that, again, with my coaching hat on, the goal has to be realistic and achievable.
Yeah.
That means no point in setting you going out there. My goal is to win that tournament. Yeah, maybe that's a nice long-term goal, and we are so going to work towards that if that's what you want to do. Right now, there's lots of little goals you need to work on, and it can be and that's part of the fun of it as well. Like so, I the day archery stops being fun for me, the day I'll walk away. I'll buy a motorbike or a sports car or something like that.
My goal, genuinely, is to get to March.
Yeah.
And get to the line.
Yeah.
And hit the target. That's it. You know what I mean? I don't have any. I know I go on, I'm going to get a medal. If I don't get a medal, I'm not going to cry myself to sleep. I'm going to be like, fuck it, you got there and you did it.
Absolutely.
Well done.
Yeah.
Especially when I'm somebody who quits stuff very easily, or who would be like, oh Jesus, I'm going to make a fool out of myself or something like that. Let's not do this.
And that's why we're tracking your scores as well, because as part of your goal setting is to introduce that certain pacing of yourself as well, that you can see that when you're taking your scores down, that you will have a bad end, bad unit and things like that. But hang on, you can still see the slight creep upwards, and that's what's nice, because you're getting better, and that's your own little. You have your own goal there. Yeah, goal setting and visualizing. I suppose visualizing or anticipating like a good shot. It's all part of the your set up, and you're looking at the target, and you're going to visualize your arrow. It's all part of your, and then that feeds into your set up aiming aspect as well. So yeah, goal setting, keep them small, keep them right, keep them realistic, and I suppose another element then is pressure and all the fun that comes with that.
Who's doing the pressure then? Where's the pressure coming from?
I suppose when you're doing a competition or you're preparing for a competition, again, the pressure is going to come from yourself.
Yeah.
And you, you have all the various, I suppose, the standard textbook techniques out there that whether it's deep breathing or mindfulness or having a distraction or exercise or yoga or whatever like that. These are all fine. I think sometimes if people are predisposed to pressure and all the joys that comes with that, it's there. Now, some people can maybe channel that into absolute delivery, and other people are just going to go, "No, I don't like it." No, and that's fine because I don't like pressure. And if I feel that I'm under a huge amount of pressure, I'll try and avoid a situation where maybe that's where I'm going to find myself.
Yeah.
I still do competitions, but I want to enjoy them as well. Have the crack too. That's what's nice about, I suppose, the type of archery that we do as well. That you can, there's that avenue that you can shoot, you can compete, have a bit of fun, and if you do well, great. But if you did want to take it to a performance level, there's avenues for that as well. So depending on how you're predisposed to handle pressure or take on pressure or respond to pressure, I suppose maybe what's important is your awareness of how you are when a pressure situation arises.
Yeah.
And maybe if you're not aware, if you find that you've gone into the tournament, for example, and looking forward to it, but all of a sudden you find yourself there in the field or on the line, and you realize all of a sudden it's like somebody just transports you to there. And hang on, what am I doing here? I don't need this. That's horrible because you don't realize the pressure you're under until the timer goes, and you go, because you don't realize it. You go through the whole process. You sign up for the competition, you pay your fees, you register, you check your bow in, you're watching the calendar, you're ticking off the days for it to. You engage in the chat with people on the other group for that competition. It's a big competition. That'll show up. Then you're on the line and go, oh crap, this is what I've got myself into.
I'm very good in very high pressure situations. But then I'll be in the kitchen and I'll drop a knife and I'll be like, oh God, and that's when I lose it completely.
Yeah, and that's where you need to be careful because you will get the bad end or the stray arrow. And you need to be able to bring yourself back. I remember when I was volunteered at the World Youth Archery Championships 2 years ago in Limerick, and that was an amazing experience. Really enjoyed it. But I remember again, there was a 4-girl compound team. I think they were under 21s, and there was on rotation. They were shooting at I think it was a 50-meter target. I think maybe 60, but there was a thunderstorm. It got so bad that we all had to stop shooting. But before that, the downpour was literally like a huge downpour. And one of the girls, she stepped up there in taking turns. She fired her one arrow, blanked it, and went to the back of the queue. And all I remember is that her equipment they were all drenched. And the second, third, fourth, and then her turn came around. Dead center, X, yellow. It was, and everybody's eyes are on them. You're into the finals there. You've got 52 countries there, something like that. And I think she was representing France, if I'm not mistaken. But again, there's pressure. Like you're there, you're in the rain, your equipment's drenched, your team is there, and to pull it back like that, and she was ice cool. Because for me, I'd be like,
yeah, you do. You would step up and be like, oh Jesus, no, I can't do it again.
Christ.
Yeah. Fair play to her.
That's what I'm saying. And maybe that's personal discipline or she's been working on that. Maybe some people are predisposed towards that. For me, I try to avoid situations where I find myself in that position.
Okay, so stay at home in bed.